And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget.
So, it's all over. No, seriously. No more mystery, no more masks, no more dumb lore videos. But I think an explanation of everything is needed. This is going to be that one video that everyone with a YouTube channel does at some point, where they talk for too long and it ends up being excruciatingly boring for the viewer. There's going to be parts where the video is essentially a blank screen and my voice just continues on. Because of this, I have included timestamps in the description so you can skip ahead to certain portions if only certain things interest you, or you could just not watch this video at all. However, I still have included absolutely everything I could think about that might need covering. A lot of things build on each other, so if you skip ahead you may not get all of the information behind why something happened, but this may not always be the case. I've tried to keep it all cohesive, but there may be a few parts that may not make entire sense. So let's start with the masked persona. This guy went through a lot of changes throughout his stay on the channel. Oddly enough, the mask itself is one of the only parts of the channel that simply has no meaning. The design simply looked cool to me, so I went with it. No symbolism behind the colors or the markings on it. The base design is based off the no-face mask from Spirited Away, some references to which will be seen later on. When the channel first started moving towards the mask direction, the masked persona, or Galactic, stood against generic mashups. He vowed to rid the internet of all lackluster content. We can see this through the death of SoundCloud, in which Galactic is shown attempting to tear down the channel of generic sources. This anti-bad mashup ideal was eventually supposed to culminate into some sort of mashup prophecy, seriously, that would result in Galactic realizing that bad content was impossible to get rid of, and that it benefited everyone by creating a universal balance between what is bad and what is good. This was never fully fleshed out. But then, not even a month later, Galactic's purpose changed again. December 9th, 2017 is when I had to get my eye patch. For those wondering what happened, we still truly don't know. I have bad light sensitivity as well as tunnel vision in my right eye. No specialist I've went to has had any idea of what is causing it. There is no physical damage, but yet the problem still persists. Anyways, this shifted Galactic's purpose from more of a story-based one to protection for myself. Not Galactic, but me, the person behind the screen name. I was terrified of what people on the internet would think of me with such an obvious and weird physical disability, especially knowing how much mistreatment happens here. Having to see people stare at me in real life was hard enough. Who knows how difficult it would be to interact with people that I didn't know, with people that have no immediate repercussions for their actions, with people that have no idea how difficult it was for me to face reality and get out of bed every morning. This was not a change that felt very apparent in how I ran the channel, except for losing focus on this anti-bad mashup idea. But as time passed, another change happened, both with my channel and myself. I eventually learned to accept that this was who I was going to be, and grew my personality into this altered version of myself. This didn't mean that people treated me any differently, just that I had come to accept it as normal. More people began to recognize me, but not know me. That hurts a little when people just know you as that guy with the eye patch. I began to hate the mystery that my channel had set around myself and wanted to remove it as soon as possible. I wasn't going to simply drop everything and do a face reveal, however. There were a lot of loose ends that needed to be tied up, and this is where ambivalence gets introduced. I assume a lot of people watching this don't know anything about ambivalence, as it was very behind the scenes. He only made one appearance in a public video, which was 14, in his red, handwritten, sometimes scribbly text. We will get more to Ambivalence's role later, but he in essence represented the gatekeeper of sorts for the mask removal. After the release of Stellar Nucleosynthesis, an ARG started that went through the acceptance process of Ambivalence, being ready to reveal myself to everyone, and having the audience prove that this was something they truly wanted to have happen. After this was completed, the live stream was initiated shortly after, and now we're here in this video. Speaking of videos, I think it may be important to go over all of the videos that I've posted and explain everything about them. The way this will work is that I will start by giving a more generic explanation of what the video is supposed to represent, and then get into the nitty-gritty details, provided they exist for the specific video. Some of the videos don't have any real meaning towards the lore, which you will see here soon. But let's start with the death of SoundClown. As mentioned earlier, this was the true starting point to the masked phase. It was meant to show the viewer that there is a big change coming to the channel through the destruction of the generic sources and introduction to the new phase. The video opens with Galvanized by the Chemical Brothers. This song was supposed to be the lore indicator song, and I'm not sure if anyone actually caught on to that or if I did a good job promoting that. Whatever. Along with Galvanized, the visuals show the infamous Zodiac cipher. However, this version is a little different. When compared with the original, some letters have been changed. Going from top to bottom and left to right, the new letters spell out the death of, and the original letters spell out SoundClown, referencing the title. Not anything too interesting, but still worth noting. A transcript of all of the text in the video is in the description, along with some of the text meaning. After this came The Time Has Come To, which formally introduced the masked persona. Again, this video showcases Galvanized, an attempt to hammer in the song's place as a lore identifier. Whether it started working or not is up to the viewer's jurisdiction. Atex, the Danny Brown Mr. Wazo mashup uploaded next, is a normal video. No lore here. The Slash video worked as a promo for the first mashup album, the one that really doesn't have a title, but kinda does. The text in this video was also supposed to be the first part of 3, creating a story that, when completed, would lead to a face reveal. This was obviously scrapped later on. The actual album doesn't contain any lore, it's simply the album. Birthday Song for Kids was a video I made to celebrate my birthday. Again, there's no lore here, its only purpose is to be creepy / juxtaposing of Sesame Street. It also supposedly worked really well at messing up people's recommended pages, so that's interesting to know. Check It is where the lore continues, and where it really starts to pick up for the first time. The Check It referred to the channel banner, which at the time contained a link extension. This started a pre-ARG, which I used to test the waters of doing an actual ARG, and to more formally introduce an important character to the lore of everything. I will now go over a walkthrough to this mini ARG, so feel free to skip ahead if this does not interest you. The link extension went to an Imgur link, which contains the album art of Dizzy Rascal's Boy in the Corner. There's text at the top reading, "This is a quiz, this is your first question," which would indicate to the solvers that they were on the correct path on further steps. Looking in the 4 corners gives this string an extension for a pastebin link. The pastebin contains a limerick in which the answers to each of the questions creates the next step. Looking at the capitalization of the lines and putting all of the characters together gives this string the extension for a Pico song link. The audio here is a chopped and screwed version of Soft Cell's Tainted Love, with snare hits reading out times in Morse code. Taking the time of the Pico song audio in seconds and multiplying it by the time of Tainted Love in seconds gives 13,090. The audio file is named onlyletters.mp3, so putting 13090 as a tiny URL extension gives the next link. This leads to a Google Doc, which contains 3 words relating to William Gibson's Neuromancer, along with series of 3 numbers. This step can be solved by taking the chapter number, the paragraph number, and the letter number of the book for each string of 3 numbers. Putting all of these together gives a YouTube link. This video contains a menagerie of clips, each mentioning a letter or number. The description mentions sometimes last 5 quick, sometimes last 5 slow, or vice versa, which is a lyric from Mad Villain's All Caps. Running the letters obtained from the video through a sci-tail and capitalizing the last 5 letters gives a final Imgur link. This image is an envelope with the text, "Your all-time favorite album," written on it, with my email address below. Emailing their favorite album ends the pre-ARG, but the emails will continue later on. During this time, Melon and Maximum Mashup Megamix 2 are uploaded, but again contain no lore. Back to the emails, a long conversation gets sent in the replies. This follows the dialogue from the Pepe Sylvia scene from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. This was used to establish the characters of Ambivalence, A, and Galactic. More on these characters during the actual ARG. After these emails, 14 was uploaded. This brought the behind-the-scenes lore to a wider audience so that more people could have some idea of what was going on, although the video still remains extremely vague. This also gives more focus to Ambivalence's issue of face reveal / removal of the persona. Afterwards, another email got sent containing this image. This image contains many references to Hacker by Death Grips, which was also used at the end of 14. The first sentence makes it clear that everything that gets uploaded to the channel, besides the albums, has meaning. There's nothing done past this point that's there because it looks cool. On a journey to the center of we is modified from I'm on a journey to the center of 3! It represents how Ambivalence and Galactic are trying to come to an agreement for the decision Galactic wants to make. Sink or swim, they don't fucking care is modified from sink or swim, who fucking cares? It represents how the majority of the audience wants what Galactic wants, a removal of the persona. However, they do not consider what happens to Galactic for making this decision. Whether Galactic sinks or swims, the audience just wants to know. 1311 is a direct copy from 13 times out of 11. In Hacker, it is used to show that MC Ride gives his all no matter what he's doing. Galactic is the same way. Being the freak I wanna see is modified from be the freak you wanna see. It represents that Galactic wants to break free from this cage of anonymity, but since being it is crossed out, it's something that he cannot do yet. Past this, later on the Anthony Fantano YTP video gets posted, which promotes the release of Fresh, the second mashup album. In this video is a hidden Imgur link, which leads to the second part of the story from earlier. The third part was never uploaded. Oops. Upon the release of Fresh, the channel and myself was supposed to go completely silent, with absolutely zero activity on YouTube, Twitter, and Discord. However, a very important event occurred during this time, concerning the upload of Sing About Me, I'm Number 1. It was extremely difficult to choose whether or not to upload this, but it felt too substantial to let pass. This is the only break in the channel's dormancy until Stellar Nucleosynthesis is released. Now, I could get into a lot of what this project means to me, but I feel like leaving this one up to the viewer's interpretation is the way I want it to be. If you care enough about what that album might mean, try and make your own conclusions on what everything represents. I know what I was going for with it, but if you're able to pull something different from it, that's cool as well. Anyways, this mini album of sorts kickstarts the actual ARG. Downloading the album off of Bandcamp and checking the tags shows various characters in the additional comments. Alphabetizing the tracks and taking these characters in this order creates an extension for an Imgur link. This leads to an image from Ambivalence, along with some specific letters that have been underlined. Taking the red text followed by the orange, yellow, etc. gives the phrase Email Galactic a color of the rainbow. Upon doing so, the recipient would be responded to with this message. The link in this email leads to the first video we will see from Ambivalence, whom I mentioned earlier in the mini ARG. The description contains a pastebin link, which contains a series of clues, each leading to a specific character. Putting these all together gives another Imgur link opening to this image. The Super Mario 64 star refers to decrypting the text using a base 64 cipher, which will then produce a Pico song link. The audio here has 3 bits of hidden text, one each at the beginning and the end, and a third stretched throughout the middle. The middle text leads to the first of many fakeouts, a video using No Words by Hobson, and a video relating to bread.
Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here.
I had way too much fun making this video. However, taking the 2 ends and combining them leads to the next Ambivalence video. This is the first time the viewers actually get to know Ambivalence's name, but this time the description contains a YouTube link for the ending of Pulp Fiction, along with an encrypted string of text.
Well, there's this passage I got memorized. Ezekiel 25:17.
Taking 25:17 and using it as a key for a Gronsfeld cipher, the text in the description can be decrypted to the phrase, "We are close to the home, go there, then see what's a little different." This references the channel homepage, where a new link has been added, leading to a Google Sites page. This page contains a fair amount of information, most of it jokes and another fake out, but the tab contains the next step. The last string of characters after the semicolon is an extension for a pastebin link. The numbers at the top are the birthday of Blaise de Vigenère, the creator of the Vigenère cipher. The middle text is the beginning of a Blade Runner quote, and taking the remaining part of the quote and using it as the Vigenère key on the encrypted text leads to the next ambivalence video. The link in the description leads to an image containing a cloud with the word crises written on it, with raindrops falling on the word change, as well as a link in the top. The link leads to a downloadable Minecraft map containing a set of hidden letters that give a link for a RAR file. Downloading the file shows it to be password protected, which is what we need to use the image earlier for. This image references the line "Crises precipitate change" from the song Virus by Deltron 3030. Therefore, the RAR can be opened using the password virus. This reveals the file to contain a lot of very similar images and a text document at the top. The text document reads out hints for which images to look in, each of them containing a hidden string of text. Piecing all of these together forms a Spotify playlist. Taking the fifth letter of each track and using the title of the playlist to determine capitalization, give the extension for the next ambivalence video. This description contains 3 links: an image, a RAR file, and a fake out. The image contains a clock set to 12:15 with 4 eyes in it. This references the opening to Midnight in a Perfect World by DJ Shadow, and so the file can be opened using the password Midnight in a Perfect World. This file opens to an audio clip which has some important tags. The album art references the Discord logo, whereas the genre and additional comment lead to the extension for the server. This leads to a Discord server called Orange, containing the entire Wikipedia page for oranges. Certain bits have the edited tag on them, leading to further investigation where certain citation numbers have been replaced. Taking all of these in order leads to the next ambivalence video.
Hi everyone, Anthony Santana here.
Inside the video, right after the opening bread section finishes, another extension can be seen near the top, leading to another ambivalence video. This link in the description leads to this image, referencing the movie American Pie. The image also contains the Bandcamp logo behind it, so going to andthisonetime.bandcamp.com leads to the next step. This account has only one album, which is a collection of chopped and screwed tracks. This acts as a guess the song sort of step as hinted to by the description. Making a list of the original samples and taking the letter that each track title refers to gives the next link. This Pico song link contains a corrupted audio file. The title hints at everything you need to do with this audio file, the first of which being to convert it to an NES file for emulation. This gives a standard ROM file for the NES version of Tetris. Sending a screenshot of a score greater than 75,000 with the name Jacket to Galactic gives the next ambivalence video. The description link leads to this audio file. The Starman theme and the title Red refer to the Rush album 2112. Cubing2112 gives this a number, and using this as a tiny URL extension leads to a YouTube playlist. This playlist contains a selection of seemingly random videos with a pastebin link in the description. Again, these are hints for timestamps, and taking the words at each timestamp leads to the phrase, "Do you have keys? You need first 6. This references the first 6 keys on a keyboard, and going to the video titled QWERTY now shows a Google Docs link in the video description. This page has an absurd amount of text in it, with clues at the top helping to pinpoint the exact letters. Each of the correct letters are hyperlinked but lead to another fakeout. Instead, taking all the letters and using them as a YouTube extension gives the next ambivalence video. This begins the downfall of sorts of ambivalence, and the puzzles from here on out get increasingly easier. This description link opens to an image of a chessboard with binary around the border. Turning the zeros into black pixels and the ones into white pixels produces a QR code, which gives out a YouTube extension when scanned. The audio link in the description is a series of very deep tones, but speeding up the audio file and running it through a spectrogram produces the next YouTube link. This description simply has the next video link, only encoded through hex. Again, this description has the next video link, and this time is ACII. The last link leads directly to the final video. And this is the end of the ARG. Afterwards, the live stream happens, followed by this video. Here we are today. This asks an important question. What's next? Well, I don't want there to be any more mystery with myself. I will be a lot more expressive on all platforms I can be, and uploads will resume as they had before this masked face occurred. I'm getting to respond to all the messages people have sent me that I have failed to acknowledge, so check your inbox if you sent me something. About the type of content I will be creating, I will still be focusing on mashups / joke videos. Don't worry, that's not going away anytime soon. However, I would love to start incorporating more non-mashup music into my discography. Working on stellar nucleosynthesis has given me so many ideas for where I want to take music, and I'm excited for what will come next with that. About this non-mashup music, I will not be making music as personal as stellar nucleosynthesis or as dark or experimental the first half of that mini album is. I want to make fun stuff that can be more enjoyable for myself. I will also be uploading a video soon that goes over all of the samples from that album and shows some of the manipulation I did to some of the songs I chose to sample. As for stuff that's upcoming, I will start to have a more visual focus. Over the summer I got a new computer that can actually run Premiere Pro and After Effects, and I would love to start learning both of those programs. These last 5 months have also been extremely audio focused, and I think it might be better for me to have a brief period of making more visual centric work. Hopefully, if my internet is capable of handling it, I would love to start doing live streams as well. I have some ideas for some things to do with viewer participation or live walkthroughs of how a project gets created. I'm super excited for those as well. And I think that's everything. Thank you guys so much for putting up with me in this strange last year. I'm glad the mask finally came off, and I hope this new era will be a good new step forward for everything I have planned to do.